Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay. Today, I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those good things. Okay, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Okay, I wanted to talk about um, Young Doll's case. Okay, I wanted to talk about Young Doll's case, and we always talk about the Young Doll's case. Um, I think because I was born and raised in Memphis. Um, it affects everybody, all of his fans all over the world. But I'm talking about the politics of the repercussions that comes behind what has happened to young Dolph. And I think it's just amazing to me. And my head has not been in the sand, okay? But it's absolutely amazing to me the mindset of so many people, as it relates to this case. We talk about rap music and things of that nature, and I think that's a good thing um, to talk about rap music because if you think about the history of rap, it was always a lot of shit talking and people going back and forth with each other, being clever with words, who could make the biggest diss and things of that nature. And, as time went on, what rappers started doing was they would intentionally start dissing each other to create a beef, or not a beef, to create a buzz. I'll say that. And that's how they sold records. So it's very interesting when you start listening, when you hear what a lot of people have to say about this young dog's case. With me being older, okay, with me being older, I and a lot of people my age, hey, for the most part, I would say they think like me. I think with the younger generation, it's unfortunate that they have not really been taught a whole lot as it relates to respect for life and respect of person. Um, but it's really amazing to me when I start seeing people in their late 30s and 40s and 50s having the mindset of a lot of the younger people who have not been taught anything. Like it absolutely blows me away. It's not being, fake or anything like that. I have to say that it is absolutely amazing to me because I know adults our age should know better. Okay. And just reading comments and even in my vlog and listening to some people talk about this beef that was going on between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. I think a lot of people around my age is in shock because they kind of paid attention to when 3 6 Mafia and Yo Gotti and they were dissing each other, right? It was fun. You know, they put out a record and they throw out shots. And then people would anticipate what Yo Gotti was going to, even though he beefed with them first, what he was going to put in his record, and then people would go back and forth about whose diss was the hardest. Okay, now Paul and them got to get back into the studio and make a harder beef, but they were all making money. That's something that Jay-Z and 50 Cent did. Because I remember Jay-Z being on stage, when he, years ago, he was beefing for 50 cents. With 50 cents, he was like, who the F is 50 cents? I'm all about a dollar, and the crowd just went crazy, right? So, when I think about this beef with Young Dolph, who was a trailblazer who paid homage to Gotti. I think I played that video when he paid homage to Gotti, and he gave a shout out to Gotti, to all the big dogs and things of that nature. At some point, something went awry, and Young Dolph, people wanted to say that Young Dolph dissed Yo Gotti to come up. That's not true because uh, I don't believe it's true because Young Dolph always paid homage to Yo Gotti in the very beginning, right? I do believe that something went awry as far as business, and Young Dolph decided that he was going to, because Young Dolph is a Leo, he's a leader. I can attest to Leos being leaders, wanting to blaze their own trails. He wanted to go another route. And I think at some point, Yo Gotti started to look at him as his competitor. You know, why it couldn't be two people from the Memphis area, because there had been people before that. Juicy Paul, Tila, Project Pat, Gangsta Pat, all of these dudes who kind of definitely 8 Ball and MJG, who paved the way for a lot of the Memphis rappers that are now, that we now see having a really good success, to include Yo Gotti. Why it stepped this far out of line, I don't know. Yo Gotti knew that it was not supposed to go this far. And I didn't get on here to dog them out. I get on here to put a message into the atmosphere, because um, I kind of target the younger generation. When I worked for the sheriff's office, the chief, I used to go over. And so when people say, "Well, you seem to be so lenient," these young dudes are so they know better. I'll give an example with Fabo Gold. I think a lot of people, because Fabo Gold and Key Glock and them were into it. I never dog Fabo out, and I never will. And Fabo came up onto my panel not too long ago, maybe a month or so ago. I hadn't seen him since. And I think, you know, people was expecting for my energy to be a certain way, but I look at Fabo as a child, and being an adult, a sane thinking adult who has canceled. I was fortunate enough when I worked for the sheriff's office to go over to, at the time we was housing the teenagers who committed felonies at jail lease at the women's jail, and I was able to go over there and counsel with them. And it was just by mistake, because I wanted to be a mentor to the girls, but they had plenty of mentors. The boys didn't have mentors. So I was able to go over there and mentor them. And I have to say, that was just the plan of God, because I had the opportunity to see and look into the minds of these young men, who, and speak to them, who was in jail for felonies, who had committed, some of them, heinous situations, and talk to them and see the trauma, okay, that a lot of them had gone through, okay, as being even younger. And I know with kids can be extremely manipulative. Okay, so when people say, "Well, they was in jail, they can manipulate you," I would go right back to work and pull their histories and things, that the histories of their addresses, and pull the 911 histories of the 911 situations being called at their house, because I wanted to really understand them, right? And I would see where they were telling me the truth, when they would say certain things about how they had anger because they saw their moms being beat, they had been touched on. Like, I worked for the police department at that time, and everything was accessible to me, which everything is accessible to me now. But it was way easier for me to just go into my system and pull up everything, and there was a lot of trauma, right? And so with Fabo, with people like Fabo and Key Glock and them, I look at them as kids. Me myself, because I'm not mentally ill, I would never promote kids that are my kids age going out and committing heinous situations. And with Fabo being up on my panel, this is what I'm going to say. I know when somebody has a real sick, evil energy. Okay, I pay real close attention to people and their energies and entities, and from and the entities that's around them. And I knew from the very start, Fabo was frustrated. Okay, where their frustration came from, as it relates to them, I don't know, but I felt like he was trying to be pushed to do the very ultimate when these kids had grown up together. And what was the first thing he said was, "I don't have nothing against Kenny Money. I had the opportunity to speak with him." If that's the case, then I'm happy that he did, because I'm not going to push somebody who's already having issues, who's already mad about whatever. into doing something that he would regret. Okay. And I think that is what is happening. I'm not saying that Fabo was right. I think quite a bit of things that he did was wrong, but he handled it the way that I guess he only knew how to handle it. And he had people that was egging him on, okay? And I'm just not one of what I look like being in my damn 40s, egging on some 20-year-olds and getting into trying to get into their mind when I know that a lot of them are already emotionally unstable, okay, and don't know how to handle whatever it is that they're going through to go and do something that's going to destroy somebody else's life and in the process destroy their very own lives, which is one of the reasons why I always stay on the heads of a lot of these OGs, right? Because I am at the age of a lot of these OGs, and it bothers me that a lot of these women who are with these OGs, they they could tell you everything. That he said this, said that. These are women that could have the ear of these OGs. I'm not saying it's their fault, but I just know that I'm the type of woman because I've always been around street guys. I've dated street guys. Um, that would always speak up, okay? And to let them know you're the older person. Hey, this right here ain't cool. Right here, you already know you ain't supposed to be getting into anything like that, especially when you're trying to push these young dudes to go out and do things that they are going to ultimately regret, just like what happened to Straight Drop. Cornelius was a little older. He was, I believe, 33 years old at the time. He definitely knew better. The Orange Mound Quits, they knew better. All of them knew better. But you talk about all of them really. But you talk about people like JoJo Splat, who was 18 years old at the time, which is why he was not handling it well. It hurt me to see JoJo Splat shaken. I know JoJo Splat has to pay for some things. Okay. All of those little young dudes are going to have to ultimately pay for some stuff, right? Um, but there's no way with me being old enough to be their mother and you seeing a child shaking like that because he has put himself in a situation and then you had older dudes pushing him, instead of trying to guide him in the right direction to go in a situation that even though he had I guess he was talking what they say cash money shit. His mentality was still that of a teenage boy, because he was 18 years old at the time that Young Dolph was assassinated. And we saw the breakdowns and things of that nature that he started having because he had a lot of older OGs in the background that was pushing these young dudes up to do a lot of what they had gotten themselves involved in, right? And so when I think about Young Dolph's situation, okay, um, I always say it never should have it never should have got this far out of hand. I think about Black Youngster, I think about Big Chook and all of them and all of the other people that I've heard about that we that are involved in this Young Dolph's case. They knew better. Okay. And I'll say allegedly at this point, but they knew better. But God says when I get them back for what they did, the evil that they did, you're going to see me get them back. That's one of my favorite scriptures because I think we're starting to see revelation. Okay, we started to see it anyways, but we're starting to see revelation. But it's always, something else to me to see people jump onto my comments and to jump on to yeah, to jump in my comments or you see them on blogs and things of that nature trying to justify what happened. Dolph was talking too much. Who died and made Gotti or any other man, Black Youngster or anybody, God, that they think that they can send somebody out to go and take somebody's child out, somebody's father out, somebody with a human life. But most of all, Dolph didn't belong to Gotti nor Black Youngster or Big Jook or any of them that had a consistent pattern of trying to take him out. Dolph belonged to God. So what they did was the people that participated in this, they put themselves in a God-like position to decide As the FBI agent said, when they heard Black youngsters say that a song or something, yeah, or a I'll say a law enforcement officer, but I've said it now, okay? When they heard Black youngsters say, okay, that the only reason why a nigga ain't dead is because he ain't called that they knew he had to be off the street at some point. Because when a person has put themselves in a God position, and I know Black youngster know that he's not God, because Black youngster came from a family that served God, right? Okay, I used to spend nights at Black youngster's great aunt's house because his cousin is my best friend. So, and his mother, when she was a child, she would spend the night there sometimes. So I know that he comes from a family that served God. Okay, I know that. So I know he knows that he is not God. But you start talking about people like Black youngster, okay, who came from around Macmillan, all right, and um who what's the word that I'm looking for? Came from the trenches, didn't have anything, had a lot of hard living. Um, I see him giving honor to God, in which he should, but it's almost like he's got other people, or he had put other people in a position over God, which is why he has himself in a position that he is in now. Because regardless to whatever issues that people try to say that Black youngster and them and people like him have, they still know right from wrong. And what happened to young Dolph, there is nothing right about it. That's what I'm talking about. When people start talking about trying to justify what happened to him, there is no justification. There was never even any justification for what happened to young Dolph when they shot him in LA. And when they shot up his van, there was no justification for that, because those were consistent attempts on his life. But God says, when I get them back for what they did, you're going to witness it. And so when people start getting mad about folks being angry about taking human life, I never thought that I would see such vampires, people that have no regards for life, especially at my age. Is very, very heartbreaking, because there is no justification. It makes me think about, what are people teaching their children now when they feel like that it can be that somebody getting on a rap song dissing you, there's justification. 3 6 Mafia didn't take Dolph, didn't take Gotti out when he dissed them. And if they had, people would have had the exact same issue. Hey, that it wish never should have happened. And what would have, if that had happened, what we all would have been saying, hey, 3 6 Mafia's career should be over with. Okay, because who are they to take Gotti's life just because he started a diss? He started dissing. Okay. Um, Fortunately, that did not happen. But I think it's a darn shame, when these OGs, a lot of these OGs that surround this case, start going to get these little dudes and pulling them in, to giving them record deals and things of that nature, to be their hit men. I'm doing this for you. I need you to be my little hitter, and I'm so happy that the FBI has honed in and zoned in on that, right? Has honed in and zoned in on that, because if people are being given record deals so that they can be hitters, or they can get their friends in their gangs and things of that nature to be hitter, then the FBI do need to break it up in order for people to have a chance at life on the street. The price is too high to support a rapper who has been put, regardless to what their talent is, who has been given a contract strictly to be a hitter. And that is what we can safely say has been going on. We see it, right? So the price is too high. So when people started talking about, well, I don't like the FBI that's taking a Black man down, we have to take Black men down, okay, that are destroying the Black community, or the FBI has to take Black men down that are consistently destroying the community. We see it on YouTube, right? Because a lot of them are affiliated with these record labels, and affiliates of the record labels. And we're definitely seeing it in the street, right? But God says, when I get them back for what they did, you're going to see me get them back, okay? And I think that's what a lot of people are not missing. Folks have completely taken God out of the equation. That's why they can be mad at human beings like myself when I say what they did ain't right, and you're going to pay for that. They get mad. What they mean? I was right because he looked at me funny. He should have had died. She wrong for saying that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what parents, I don't know what people are being taught, but evidently there ain't no conviction and no regards for life, not even their own life. People find it an honor now to talk about, yeah, I was shot at. Yeah, I went to jail. They find that an honor because somebody is telling them that gives them street creds. I think it's a darn shame when you have young men who, um, you know, are told when they're doing this rapping, okay, that if you're not out in the streets killing people and doing this and raping women and putting stealing little girls and putting them in human trafficking and things of that nature, hey, you can't have no rap career because folks ain't gonna believe you. So what you need to do is you need to get out there and get about doing it. So it seems to me the whole rap industry, it has got to be torn down and built back up another way because it has definitely turned into something demonic. And you only see this happening on the end where you see a lot of the black people, and it's because black people don't understand their power. Black youngsters, I mean, black youngsters too, but definitely Yo Gotti and Young Dolph could have been a force to be reckoned with. Young Dolph had the right ideas, and I know he had the right ideas as it relates to independence because now you see Yo Gotti is talking about independence, right? When they were saying talking about Young Dolph for being independent, now you see him following that same path. When if he had uh, uh, um, had a conception of that idea when Young Dolph was talking about it, maybe he couldn't because he was tied up in so many contracts. They could have been a force to be reckoned with. There's never been just one king. But it appears to me that a young man lost his life because he felt like he was a king. I was looking at Young Dolph on an interview. He said, all my dudes got to carry themselves like kings. I'm a king, Daddy, you're a king, Fizzle a king. Everybody is a king. It wasn't just one king. And I think God had missed the memo on that. Okay. That's what that selfishness and that jealousy does. The Bible says that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. Okay, Gotti? It ain't for you to be up here and everybody else can make money as long as they're up under you. That ain't how it works. It's gonna always be somebody beside you or above you and some up under you. Okay. So you had the game twisted, but God says, when I get them back for what they did, you're gonna see me get them back. So when folks come over to my page talking about that I'm hating, I'm not hating on Gotti. I hate what Gotti and them have put into the atmosphere in Memphis, right? Because what they do is they send these young dudes out and people like him. And this is in every hood in every city. And then they think that they're gonna come up like Straight Drop and they end up in jail. And at some point, Straight Drop is probably gonna lose his life because he's got to go to a penitentiary that he ain't ready for. Okay. Whereas a lot of Young Dolph fans, okay, it's a lot of other people that have lost their lives, but because of this situation, right? Because they was misguided and things of that nature. But people who send them out, they go right back to their mansions. And when they are taken out, okay, when they think they playing chess, they get knocked out, then they go and find somebody else who is from the trenches who will do anything for some money because they are, first of all, they haven't been taught any conviction at home. Um, and their mind is weak, and then they end up getting taken out, and then they just go find somebody else child. But God's, and then they get taken out. Okay. But God says, when I get them back for this genocide that they're committing in the black community, you're gonna see me get them back. You're gonna witness to get back. And when God said, well, God is a God of love, read your Bible. He says that I'm a God of vengeance. Vengeance is mine. That's what he said. That's what he said. Okay. So Young Dolph's murder was senseless. And I think something that somebody wrote into my comments today talking about Yo Gotti is truly the last man standing. And he won the war, and Young Dolph should have kept his mouth closed. The thought process of some people is very scary. Okay, is very inhumane and evil and sick and twisted. I never is that of a serial killer like Ted Bundy and um Jeffrey Dahmer. But the sick thing is people have been taught that that's the way you should have a lot of honor You should take pride in people thinking that way about you. It's really, really sick. Okay. And one thing I know about God is that God protects his people. God was not pleased with what they did with young Dolphin. He shook the earth. And when the earth shook, I know them niggas that was a part of plotting this situation. They had gone back underground in their mansions in their gated community, so they didn't feel the earth shake. But those that was a part of it and was sent out and didn't have the money to go nowhere but back to the hood, okay? If they knew anything about God, they should have been afraid when the earth shook, because that was an indication of what was to come, right? And as I've said before, when all of this is said and done, there's going to be another earthquake on a Richter scale that's even higher than the one that happened the night of November 17th, 2021. Okay, when they took that young man out because they said that he dissed them in a song, right? I think if they knew what was planned for them, they would have took the diss and just been making money all day. But instead, they allowed that evilness to take over them and that jealousy, and they felt like they had a point to prove, and now they're mad at the authorities because they got a point to prove, and that is, you are not going to be a serial killer and disguise it as a rapper and get away with it. Ain't God good? Okay. But God says, when I get them back, you're gonna see me get them back. So when you hear people talking about this, and that as it relates to young dogs getting justice, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at them. If you're gonna be mad at anybody, get mad at God. And it ain't gonna do you no good to be mad at God. Okay, because God been said, vengeance is mine. Okay, but what they get mad at is they can't take that borrowed money, that temporary money that they have, and put a hit on God's head. That's one that they can't fight with. Even though they have put themselves in a godlike position, because people who don't know who they are put them on pedestals. As I said, I never thought I would see the day where men was going to jail to serve time away from their family and their children for another man so he could be out. I just don't understand that, right? But you have men doing it every single day, right? But God says, when I get them back for what they did, you're going to see me get them back. And when they finish, what happened to young Dolph was still senseless. And there has to be some retribution for it. Okay. So when you see the energy change, and then these folks know that these folks is going to get them, don't get mad at me. I hear it from law enforcement. Okay. I hear it from people in the inside that these folks are going to get got. So I'm not out there investigating the Young Doll's case. Nobody else is out there investigating the Young Doll's case. When you hear people say that folks need to go to jail for what they did, don't get mad at them. Those are people that still is a part of humanity, that has humane feelings, and understand you can't just bludgeon a person just because they said something that you don't like. There are still, God has his people everywhere. It's a lot of people that are on the other side, but God has his people everywhere. And God says, with two or three agree, I'd be in the midst. Young Dolph's parents and Mia J alone praying, okay, and standing in agreement is enough to get a conviction for all of them that was involved. But because Young Dolph has fans, and there are still, God has his people everywhere, and there are people watching, knowing that what they did was wrong, the conviction is imminent. It's got to happen. These indictment these indictments got to happen, right? And it ain't got nothing to do with when people say snitching. Y'all know, I think more people should tell. I don't call it snitching. I call it letting the Lord use you. Y'all know I started that. Let's letting the Lord use you. Okay? It ain't snitching, it's letting the Lord use you. Okay? And that's why I say God got his people everywhere, because it's quite a few people that's letting the Lord use them. And I think it's going to be quite a bit more, okay? Because God has the last say. But when it's all said and done, Young Dolph's murder was senseless. And then to jump on a national internet and put into the atmosphere, I'm the last man standing, like he had did something, okay? And then want to be taken seriously when you put that negative energy out there, when you have young dudes who already ain't got no God is watching you, feeling like what you did is okay. That's what y'all put into the atmosphere, and God got to get y'all back for that one. That alone has a payback attached to it because you're responsible for what you put into the atmosphere when you have a platform. Okay. All right. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about that. People get mad at me because I stand. Listen, I don't ride the fence on nothing. It's too many people that are fence riders, and they got this. A lot of folks got splinters up their ass because they stay on the fence all the time. I'm not one of those ones. I deal in everything. It's black or white. I don't deal in gray areas. Okay. And what happened to Young Dolph? There was nothing right about it. I wouldn't give a damn how many songs I liked of Goddess or didn't like. There was nothing right about it. If it had been the other way around, I would be saying the exact same thing. No human should have lost their life. Now folks want to talk about kumbaya, good Lord, kumbaya. They hurt a lot of people when they took that boy out. Do y'all really think they're gonna kumbaya with y'all? No. And the truth of the matter is, it's still some people who's satisfied with Young Dolph being dead because their jealousy won't let them have any conviction. It's just that they're thinking about it now because they know they ain't gonna get away with it, and they have ultimately ruined their own lives. I'm gonna tell you something. The devil will mess himself up trying to mess you up. I hadn't talked about my dad as much as I used to, but I look at all the videos that I have. I'm so happy that I got videos and things of that nature for the last 10 years of my dad, talking to him 3 times a day, making great memories and stuff with him. Okay. Um, it makes me proud that God even chose me to be his daughter so that I could get all that wisdom. And when he's down there at that military grave, I can stick my chest out knowing that I had a real uh father that was just brave and full of wisdom, and just had it going on, and even in death he still do, because his memory and his legacy lives on. A lot of people can't say that. Okay. But I think about my dad used to always say when he be in a battle, because y'all know my dad was a politician. He ran for office and won. Nobody could beat him. Okay. And even when he left office, he had a strategy. He ran and won and left, and they was able to put the person that he wanted in there to continue on his legacy. Ain't God good? He was a strategist. That's why everybody that stood up at his funeral said, "Man, all of that wisdom and stuff down there at that grave, dog, but I'm so glad he left him behind. Left a lot of it behind. That man is a strategist." And then said, and that daughter right there sitting in the front right there, that's him in the female form. Okay. But I remember my dad said, when he would run for office, and I would be around Memphis, and they would be they kick up dirt. Okay. And I would be, "Dad, they doing this, Dad. They grudging up dirt on you, and they doing this. So what we gonna do?" And he would just sit back in his chair and have one. He was real manly. He didn't cross his legs. He would fold one of his legs up over the other one. That's the man's fold, because these men, a lot of these men fold their legs like women. Okay. And he would always put his hands together and say, "Don't worry about it. We doing something." And I remember one of the last elections, they got a team together because nobody could beat him, and they was really throwing dirt on him, and he would sit back and say, "Don't worry about it, we doing something." Okay, "Don't worry about it, we doing something." I said, "Okay." And he said to me, I remember he said to me, he said, "Let me tell you something. You be worried about stuff. Don't worry about your opponent." He said, "You see that opponent?" I said, "But they doing some, they lying worse than they ever did before." He said, "Let me tell you something. That's the kind of opponent I want." I said, "Why you say that, Dad?" He said, "When they don't know how to stop, they always go too far. That's how I'm gonna win." And sure enough, they put so much dirt out there on him, it turned the people off. "Oh no, they going too far. We ain't voting for him. He too dirty. We don't want nothing to do with that." He said, "See, I told you." As a matter of fact, they ended up disqualifying themselves. He said, "See, I told you." When they go too far and they don't know how to stop, that's the best kind. They walked themselves off of a ledge and he killed himself, killed his whole campaign. Okay. So when people don't know how to stop, when folks start getting restless, right, about this young dog's case, and it seems like that people are, because they can go, they'll pull away from black youngster. Then when they want somebody that don't know how to stop and they want some dirt out, they'll get they bloggers who are on crack and things of that nature, who ain't never had nothing, that go too far, and walk them off of a ledge. They'll go get black youngster who they know just want to be loved and in with them. Okay, if he ain't seen how they done treated him, down through the since this happened, I don't even know why he would have anything to do with them. They'll go get him. Okay, they'll go get him. But guess what has it done? It has turned the people off even more. So while whatever is going on in the background is going on, when you talk about the authorities doing whatever is necessary to make sure that their case is airtight, let these folks walk themselves off of a ledger. It don't hurt to send, it don't help to send negative energy to the people that's gonna actually be the ones to be they the real walk down gang. It don't the feds and the Memphis police investigators and whoever else, whatever else federal entity is involved in this case, the DEA, I'm here. Though that's the real walk down gang. Me as a vlogger, I ain't no other vlogger, because they don't have the information or the contact with the people that's helping them to be the walk down gang, right? So it don't help to put out negative energy at the wrong people. We need to be praying for them. That's what's gonna get you your blessing, when you pray for the right people that can actually bring justice. That's if you truly want justice, because I don't know if everybody that say they want justice for them do. It don't help. Okay, because one thing that I do know is that you might get by, but you never get away. Okay, and you have to reap what you sow. And God says, when I get them back, you're gonna see me get them back. And when it's all said and done, I don't give a damn what Young Dolph said to your God. He could have said your daddy, your granddaddy, anybody. They ain't have no right to kill him. Whoever did it, they ain't have no right to do it. I hear people say he didn't sign straight drop. Young Dolph could have signed whoever he wanted to. That was his damn label he built from the ground. There was no justification for what happened. Okay. There was no justification. A person can say whatever they want to as long as they ain't violating you. Okay. When folks hack your computer and then they hack your phone and hear you talk, okay, and then they say it, they ain't got no, that's violating. But if a person get on a rap song and throw a diss at you, they could do that. All you need to do is be clever enough to get on the mic and throw one back and make some money. But it's too many emotional pink panty wearing dudes that's being told that they right for killing somebody's child just because their feelings got hurt. Like I said, if you can't stand to be talked about, they talked about Jesus Christ. If you can't stand to be talked about, you need to take your ass to a damn ballerina class and stand on your tiptoes and bend over and do ballet. Okay? The rap industry ain't for you, especially if you call yourself a gangster. Now you're a pink panty wearing, soft, tender brick. Okay? Good for nothing nigga that never deserved an opportunity. Okay? And took the money that the community helped you to attain. Because when these niggas get through, I did it on my own. Nigga, you ain't did nothing on your own. The same damn community you commit genocide in is the same community that helped you on your come up. Okay? So I can't understand when I hear people say, well, I would help the city of Memphis, but I'm going to just stay out of it. Nigga, you the reason for it. A lot of you. You the reason for it. But a lot of these folks understand if they get in it and say stop, folks gonna look at them funny and say it's gonna be a whole lot more stuff coming out. Well, that came from his camp. This right here started because of them. It's a lot of stuff gonna come out. They can't get in it, especially when they were the ones that started it. Okay, but God says when I get them back, you're gonna see me get them back. And so then what they do is they start to finesse a lot of these little dudes. I got to say something about this. I think about, I don't know, the young man that's in jail. I don't know if it's Pooh Shiesty or 42 Dugs. Y'all help me out. Who your Gotti said that he would give $2 million to any lawyer that could get him out. When you do stuff like that, me as a sane thinking adult that's not easily manipulated, I understood when he said that he was trying to finesse some more folks, right? He already knew that 42 Doug or whatever, is it Pooh Shiesty or 42 Doug? Y'all help me out. I don't know. It's I get them mixed up. Okay, that's in jail. Okay. He already knew when he said it that no lawyer could get him out early. So he said on the Breakfast Club, I forgot to bring this up. This is how these OGs finesse these young dudes. I'll get $2 million to whoever can get him out early. So then Charlemagne them called his bluff and said, "Did you have any lawyers?" "Oh yeah, I had plenty of lawyers call me. They couldn't do none." They said, "Oh, okay, they couldn't do none." So then asked him something about his lawyer. Oh, well, we messed with his lawyer. His lawyer, he already had a lawyer. His lawyer, had to do a real good job. So why you put that into the atmosphere? You already knew he had a lawyer that y'all trusted, and you say he did a real good job. What made you think another lawyer could get him out? You already know they couldn't. That was a way of finessing the young man into thinking that you're really for him. So when he get out, he can either get himself knocked off, go do your dirt, get himself knocked off, or come and sign with you or something like that. This is how they finessed him. He knew when he said it that no other lawyer could get him out, and then turn around and had to say that his lawyer did a good job. Well, if his lawyer was doing a good job, you already knew he couldn't get him out. So why you undermine his lawyer like that? Just so that you could be looked at, you could finesse those that ain't got a lot of damn sense into making them think you're a real boss, so that you could finesse. It's either 42 Doug or Pooh Shiesty. I don't know. That's in jail. Okay. Finesse them into thinking you really for them when you already knew you weren't gonna have to pay no 2 million, because couldn't nobody get him out early. You knew it when you said it, because the lawyer he got already has said it and tried. Okay. But these are the games that they play with these young dudes who don't know no better, like the straight drops. But God says, when I get them back for what they did, you going to witness the get back. And it's get back season. And it ain't got nothing to do with me or nobody else, no other vlogger. Ain't nobody solved this case but the Memphis police investigators, the FBI, the other entities that they got on this case, and the law-abiding citizens that are witnesses that don't nobody even know about. Okay? That's that God get back for real, because God worked through those types of entities. Okay. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about that. Okay. I had to put that into the atmosphere. But I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. I done went on almost 45 minutes. I had no intention of doing that. Okay. But I'll be doing a live later today on FBG Duck. I always said when I was doing talking about FBG Duck case last year, you all can go back and look at it from last year in my archives. I said, watch Duck's case. I said, when people were saying, ain't no be no more justice for Dolph, I said, watch FBG Duck's case. Young Dolph's case is going to mirror that case. That's why I took a real interest in that case. Okay. And it's amazing to finally see after 3 years, because Duck was killed in 2020, that he is finally getting some justice. He got it when the rest of them was arrested, but I think it's getting ready to be some more justice. Okay, because that's that God get back. God says, when I get them back for what they did, you gonna see me get them back. So don't get mad at anybody that's in the flesh. Get mad at the Creator. That's somebody that you can't touch, because that's the Creator's word. Okay, and it's get back season. All right. But anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App. I want you guys to know that I appreciate your support. I do love you guys. Y'all are absolutely awesome. Y'all make this channel what it is. Make sure you share the video so that we can get more subscribers. We're on a road to 20,000 subscribers. Make sure you share the video, you like the video, you recommend the video, you comment on the video. All of that helps the video and keeps it in the algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, you can support it via Cash App, or you can hit the Cash App button, or you can hit the super thanks, super chat. I love you guys so much. I'll talk with you later.